Hey bestie, I'm Momo. I'm an illustrator, professional, and also for funsies. And this is my travel sketchbook. I started keeping one of these for two very important reasons. One, I wanted a fun way to document my travels abroad, and two, because travel sketchbooks are fun and cool, and I just desperately want to be fun and cool. So with these two highly important and radical reasons in mind, I made my first travel sketchbook a couple years ago. And now I have this bad boy that ended up taking me a whole year after all the traveling to finish. Yes, tragically, I've been working on this since August 2022, and I only managed a 2023 finish, so I'd feel less bad about starting a new one. But never mind all that. Let's get into the sketchbook tour as I try to visually justify why it took me so long to finish this one in the first place. In order to make this sketchbook, I'm combining two types of things here. This is not only just a diary comic type of deal, but like a scrapbooking. There's a scrapbooking element to it. So obviously, in order to do all that, I have to collect a lot of memorabilia. And so, I mean, this is faded now, but that used to be my boarding pass. And obviously I have my Metro card because I went to New York. But I'm just going through basically the steps that got me the day-to-day and all the things that I encountered in the day-to-day to get to this point. So this is starting with my trip to New York. That's where I went first before Pennsylvania in general. And it was a pretty, fairly standard show up, get off plane, go get food, hang out kind of situation. But the main event is Philly, Pennsylvania. So originally when I started doing these sketchbooks, I tried to do like at the end of the day sketching what happened. That did not work out because it takes too long. And frankly, I was tired. Every single time I would like get back from doing something, I don't draw. So all of this happens after the fact. I make all of my sketchbooks kind of after the fact, and then I get to go through all the pictures of the day to try and like jog my memory on what was going on at that point in time. And that's how you end up with things like this. But it's also nice as a self-reflection tool of even the most mundane parts of the day, like taking an Uber or like what I had for breakfast before I caught the train, become an experience. So that's really cool to be able to do that. Where we really were heading when we went to Pennsylvania was actually the Franklin Institute. They have an exhibition. I think every year they do something different, but this year they did a Harry Potter exhibition. The year previous to this, they had a Marvel one, which was also really cool. But we hit up the Franklin Institute, and it was very cool, very interactive, if you like that sort of thing. And for each thing that you did, you got like this little wristband, and once you scan that wristband, it basically accounts for points to your house. You pick a house that you want to be a part of, or you can have it pick for you, and each thing that you did gave whichever house you said you were in points. So that was it was just a fun way to spend a Saturday. We also went to Amalgam Comics, which is the first Black woman-owned comic book store in Pennsylvania, if I'm not... Oh, first East Coast comic bookshop owned by Black women. See that there? Keeping me in check. So that was really cool. I think they recently shut down, unfortunately, which... that is so sad. It was a really cozy space and great. They had great couches, amazing couches. Also went to the book corner. You can tell my friends and I like books, and saw this amazing black and white cat who kind of followed us around. Very cute. We also went to Germantown, Pennsylvania in the same day. The original reason why we were trying to go to Uncle Bobby's Coffee and Books. It's a Black-owned coffee and bookstore in Pennsylvania that I was buying books from online, and so we took the opportunity to head out there in person. It was a very cute space, but also my energy was like way down that day, or towards that point of the day, and so I don't think I got to enjoy it as much as I did. Fun fact about Pennsylvania, or this section of Pennsylvania, all the buildings that I passed by, I was like, none of these are straight. They're all on an angle, which I just wanted to kind of illustrate that with this. Same day, raining really heavy that day. Paper bag plus rain equals catastrophe in the middle of the street. And now we move on to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So the main reason for this trip was actually to visit a friend of mine from college who a couple of friends of ours were throwing a surprise birthday party for her. So a bunch of us got to meet up for the first time in a while and surprise my friend. So this was kind of documenting all that. So got to go to this place called Kitchen Kettle, which is located in Intercourse, Pennsylvania. You can tell that I was falling out because of this name. I was enamored with it because not only is it called Intercourse, Pennsylvania, but it is located under Blue Balls, Pennsylvania. You just can't make this stuff up. But Kitchen Kettle was really cute. It's kind of like an Amish, I guess, like country market type of thing. So there's a bunch of little shops and they all have kind of artisanal and homemade foods, and I mean, they had other stuff, but I was mostly there for the food. So that was a fun time, and we also got to pet pygmy goats and see a lot of like carriages and horses on the street, which was cool to see. You know, then we just kind of played board games. I am a 90s kid, #millennial, so we played some 90s trivia and watched Xenon Girl of the 21st Century before I headed back to NYC. So now I'm back in Harlem at this point. It was pretty standard for the rest of the days that I was there. I mostly worked from home at my friend's apartment. Had to run me to the bodega, get me a bacon, egg, and cheese. Okay. Hung out with a couple friends because I recently at that point just moved from New York, so I was still missing I still miss my friends now, but at the time it was like fresh. Okay, so I ran and like got to see my friends again. And with that, South Carolina. South Carolina. This was a work trip, so there's not really much to say about this one. You can kind of tell that, I mean, how do you document just an average day? Is kind of what this is an experiment in. It was just a standard going through the motions of legit what I was doing, where I was staying, what my environment looks like, what I was eating, and kind of all the thoughts that come to your head in like small situations like this. You know, just these robot heads were cool. I'm gonna draw these robot heads. I had a really good sandwich at this place and the name was Fat Cat Biscuits, and that is a cool name. And you know, manual labor sucks. 0 to 10. Truly, I feel like when you're not doing anything extravagant or exciting, there's still always a story because we're people and that's how life works. But it's kind of like having the Lizzie McGuire cartoon character pop up in your mind to make a sarcastic retort at like the absolute nothingness of like what's going on in the day-to-day. That's what doing this feels like. You gotta find the little things that make a boring day seem exciting, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So there's a lot of highlighting of eating, working, and I did get to go to a bookstore. Can you tell that I really like books? This is like the third bookstore stop in this whole thing. This was, I think, one of the last, no, it wasn't my last day there, but it was like close towards the end. We did go out to eat barbecue because we're in the South, you know what I'm saying? One thing that was really funny for me anyway, my coworkers started talking about cars. I don't know anything about cars and I don't care about cars. So I basically started tuning out this conversation, and they had fencing on the TV, which, if you know me, my brother is a fencer. So I really tuned in on that. I was really honed in on what was going on over there. So shout out to the bar for having fencing on that day. Or is it a bar technically? Shout out to the barbecue spot that was set up like a pub. We also went to, you know, you're driving around, we went to like a strip mall at some point, and it was pretty empty. I've never seen anything like it. So that I had to do a little tumbleweed moment, because what an experience. Mind you, I am coming from living in 2 different cityscapes, so this was very new for me. And once again, that biscuit life, they're good on the biscuits. I really drew a lot of food this trip. And this is officially the last day in South Carolina, and we had for breakfast what they said was basically a Japanese milk bread and almond butter with seasonal jam. And after eating it, I was basically like, so this was a PB&J. This is just a very bougie PB&J. It was good, but it was a PB&J, an open-faced one at that. One thing I think these pages kind of highlight is basically how to make something like a story out of the everyday, right? Out of regular life, and having the space to like figure out, how do I reinterpret or recontextualize the things that are happening so that it's an interesting visual. So for instance, eating at this place and having an open-faced PB&J sandwich, and having the thought process of that being like, I'm deducing that this is just a PB&J, and how do I start making that imagery that doesn't necessarily exist in real life, but is representational of what I'm thinking or what I'm going through instead, in a more humorous way. So now we get to my favorite section of this sketchbook, which is my birthday trip. I went to Jamaica with a bunch of friends of mine, and if you didn't know this, but Jamaica is kind of my home base. That's where I was born. I go back to Jamaica quite often. So getting to experience Jamaica with my friends from the US was very interesting. All right, so here I made a timeline instead of like having to show all the little things that happened prior to everyone showing up, because I went to Jamaica a little bit earlier to set up, get the party things together, get our rides figured out, our hotels figured out, all that good stuff. So this was my way of like kind of showing all of that process happening without having to individually draw all those things one by one. So this is the day well, not everyone, but the day most people arrived. It was kind of hectic. A lot of delays that day. So if you can see, the original time was 3:12, but didn't show up till 5:30. Original arrival time 12:30, didn't show up till 1:40. It was a mess. And this airport is located like a 2-hour drive away from where we were staying. So as you can imagine, we basically just stayed on that side of the island the whole time while we were waiting for everyone to show up. So we had to find ways to entertain ourselves, which included ice cream, food, and taking pictures. So here's more of like incorporating new ways of laying out the sketchbook. I wanted this to kind of be like a mission control type of thing with checklists and things like that. I think I could have done a little bit tighter than that, but we move next time. This was basically my rundown for the day, which I feel my mission. I really wanted it to be like we do something fun this day. This is the second day for some people that they were there, and the first day we spent a lot of it at the airport basically. So I wanted us to at least get to do one fun thing, and it didn't work out because we had delays again. So I was frustrated. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I really wanted it to work out. This is our little receipt for hotel stay that is in Jamaican dollars, do not freak out. So here's our first full day of getting to do something fun. This was a Blue Mountain bike ride, which we had to drive up 5,600 feet of elevation on very windy roads. So if you're not used to that and you get motion sickness, it was a hell of a ride for you. So we did have to pull over for some people to throw up. I'm so sorry. They gave us breakfast, non-traditional Jamaican breakfast, mind you, and gave us a little demonstration about the history of coffee and like how it was made and all that good stuff, and then set us up on some bikes. The way it works is we're at the top of the mountain. We didn't bike all the way to the bottom, but they had like certain points that they'd have us stop at. And so we biked downhill and stopped at different points for them to like talk with us about stuff. Amazing views. It was insanely gorgeous. I mean, this doesn't do it justice because it's a painting, but trust me, it was beautiful. It was also very funny because I had not ridden a bike in maybe 5 years at this point. So you would think I would think about that before setting up an entire bike ride downhill. But you know what? It worked out great because I did not fall or plummet to my death. So half of us, a little over half of us, I guess, I don't know, had to just take pictures on the little rock crevice area while others got to go swimming. But such is life. And on the way back, we did get to stop at a fruit stand and get coconut water. I love coconut water. I will not take coconut water slander from anyone. I don't want to hear it. And then we also got some escovitch fish. And I was very excited because finally, a day of activity, okay? So this is my actual birthday day. So this is, I think I broke this down to like 3 different parts because we did a bunch of cool stuff that day. So we went to Clarendon. We went to a place called Milk River. It's a mineral bath. And, you know, I dressed up in the outfit from 13 going on 30 because I love a movie reference. And yes, I was turning 30. So had to do it to them. And yeah, we just basically went into these pools. They have them set up in different rooms, and I think it's about 3 maximum to a room, so we split up 3-2, and we sat in those it's warm and you don't feel like anything when you're in it, but when you leave, your legs feel like jello, like this whatever is in the sediments or whatever, you just feel so heavy when you're leaving. We also stopped at a fishing village area and got some fried fish and fried steamed fish, basically whatever type of fish you want. And you guys, I have never had fish so good in my life. I literally had to like go shake the chef's hand. I was like, dude, you killed it. That was amazing. It was raining though, so we did get kind of stuck there for a little bit. But we did manage to get back to, we were staying in Ocho Rios. We did manage to get back, and we stopped at this place called the Courthouse Gallery, which is a former courthouse that got refurbished. It was in disrepair, and they refurbished it to be a cafe on the top level and a gallery at the bottom. So we stopped there and grabbed some food, and I got a little cute throat cushion that says cachaso, which is Jamaican patois for kind of like perch here, like sit on the edge here kind of deal. So this is the same night we went to a place called Evita's. If you've ever been to Ocho Rios, you've probably seen like signs for the best little pasta house in Jamaica. This is said place. It is very cute. The food is very good, and it overlooks the entire city. So, because it's up in like a mountainy type of location, so it overlooks everything, and at night, gorgeous. This was interesting for me because, once again, second time going, but also we ran into some people at the front who kind of have like a kind of farm tour is what they say. It's basically they take you around the area and show you like the flora and fauna of the area. And as a Jamaican person, I know most of these flora and fauna, so it wasn't that interesting to me. But I'm not one to yuck anyone's yum, so I was like, if you guys want to go see the flora and fauna, then sure. Also, it was very funny, the type of things that people leave on Bob Marley's grave as like offerings and like memorabilia and stuff like that. I saw pens, wedding pictures, business cards, hair ties, just literally anything people had on them are what people left as gifts for Bob, which is very funny. And also, if I find a clip of it, I'll put it in the video, but it was super early in the morning and the band was just setting up, so they were kind of like calling on us to sing with them. And so there is video of me doing a very, very bad vocal rendition of Three Little Birds. Horrible. Yikes. So we managed to pick my friend up from the airport, squeeze all the bags in, and then we had time. I was hitting up another location. That's right. So in Jamaica, I don't know about the rest of the Caribbean, but in Jamaica for sure, all the old plantation houses are kind of fixed up and built to be like museums. So essentially we went to a museum. The museum's just housed in old plantation houses. So this is me imploring you to look not with your American eyes. Cool things we saw in there. This book that's over 100 years old, and it was like kept in a glass box of protection. It's very cool. All this old money that comes in like varying sizes. Like imagine a sheet of paper this big and that's money. Imagine walking with that. And then maybe even this like thin. So it was cool seeing like the random sizes and types of money. Amazing views, gorgeous views. Everything, like Jamaica's a very mountainous place, so it was on a mountain overlooking the sea, so gorgeous views. And at the end of it, it started raining again, so we kind of sat in the former outdoor kitchen, now bar, and talked and chatted a little bit while we waited. This is highlighting the Luminous Lagoon, which is a section in the water, like in the ocean in Trelawney, that they have bioluminescent algae. So basically we had dinner at like beachside, and then once the sun set, the boats come in, and we grabbed a boat that was taking us out into the middle of the ocean, and they leave us at like a little sandbank area, and we got to play in bioluminescent water. It is hard to get a picture of it because it has to be pitch black in order for it to work, obviously. But honestly, top 10 moments, I think, of any trip I've ever taken. That was so cool and unbelievably fun to play in that water.
Whoa, cool. That's awesome.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Nightmare on Elm Street? Specifically, have you seen the poster for Nightmare on Elm Street? Because that is the inspiration for this page. This is another example of like me divorcing myself from the previous one spread a day thing and really playing with bolder compositions and like doing something more dramatic for a page, like a splash page that feels like boom, catches you. So we get to this page when we went to the Appleton estate. I do think that having the previous pages be big, bold splash pages made it so that when I'd have pages with like white space, it felt boring. So that's why you end up with like all the colored in backgrounds and stuff like that. Just trying to fill up them pages. This is a really fun day. It took forever to get there, but we did go to, this is in St. Elizabeth, and it's a rum tour basically. And we get there, basically, rum as you walk in, rum again later. Now we're testing, we're doing like a tasting, and they did feed us, and the food was amazing, but I was like 4 drinks deep. So You can't imagine on the ride home, I was knocked the hell out. And that takes us to our final day. This was the party, the big birthday party extravaganza. So it was a chill morning that morning, and we just basically went to the beach. I had my uncle play DJ for us. He has the sound system and everything, so he set up the sound system on the beach. We paid someone to basically cater, but they cooked on the beach, and it was great. I did design like little invitations, and I wanted it to look like old dance hall signs, so that's what this is. We'll take it to them. Yeah. Chill day, took pictures pretty much the whole time. It was fun. My friend and I art directed / played photographer for everyone who came to the party. That's my family and my friends and everything. Things that happened that could have ruined the day. I dropped my cake. Random strangers kept coming up to steal our food, and I did get water in my phone, but you know what? It worked out. It was still a fun time. Oh hey, editing me again. Hope you enjoyed this little flip through of my travel sketchbook. I actually have a new sketchbook I want to start and maybe work on it spread by spread in upcoming videos. I don't know. This time documenting a little place by the name of Scotland. Ever heard of it? We can work on it together. I don't know. It could be cute. If that sounds like something you'd be into, stick around my channel. Stay tuned, you know, all that good YouTube stuff they tell you to do. And let me know. I'm open to feedback. I may or may not take it on board, but I'm open to it. Anyway, new videos drop every other Saturday right here on the YouTube. Until then, I'll catch you on the internet sometime. Bye. Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.